Hi, Dr. B here, and today we are talking about how men process grief or maybe don't process grief, right? And I use the gender roles traditionally, but really, where do you fit and how do you process grief? And when do you need to seek help for that? So I have the other Dr. Bundukamara here with me today. This is my husband. We actually call him Bundy. And if I call myself an expert on grief, I am Cristi Bundukamara, psychiatric nurse practitioner with over 20 years of clinical experience, but my real experience comes from all of the loss and difficulties we've had as a couple. But he's actually had more loss than me, and so I wanted to bring him on today to talk about grief. Your mother passed away when you were in college.
Correct.
And you were super close to mom.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I was very close to my mother.
Mm-hmm. And how did you process that grief?
I processed that grief through anger on the football field at the time because I couldn't handle the grief.
So you didn't really process it, and that was an acceptable way, is to be angry.
Yes, it was. It was very acceptable at the time.
Mm-hmm. And then when we lost Johnny, what did you do to process that grief?
Anger. That's the only way I knew how to do it. To accept grief is for anger. To accept anger.
Yeah. And then we lost Reggie in 2016. And
that was anger. I didn't know how to deal with anything else with loss and grief. It's anger, but anger.
And it really started to affect our relationship because we couldn't grieve together.
Exactly. And our marriage suffered some.
So in 2017, you gave your kidney, which was a loss for you, but it was a gift for your brother. And then what happened?
I gave him 4 years of his life, and then he passed away as well. Grieving as well in my life, and anger was the key to my loss.
And now you're personally losing some function. Bundy has DRPLA, the same thing that took our son, and you're losing your ability to kind of take care of yourself, to walk. How are you grieving that?
I grieve that every day, and that's a loss where I can't explain everything, but I lost. I'm losing and grieving every day. Every day.
And I think your most recent loss hit you harder than you thought.
Yeah.
And you're ready to start processing some of that grief.
Yes, I am. I need help. After trying to process grief through anger and unfairness and a lack of unfairness, I need help. I need help with that.
Because you lost your best friend, who was
my shield, my refuge, my everything that I have today.
So
Except
if
you.
there's
Except you.
I'm still here. If there's somebody out there listening, whether it be a wife of someone who needs help or a man who needs to seek some help to help organize or process that grief, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to seek help. You cannot do this alone. And anger is not a solution for grief. There is a definite solution, and you need help with that, for that processing. No matter how strong you think you are, we all need help.
And I always like to think of it like a teapot or soda can that's been shaken up, right? If you release the pressure a little bit at a time, you don't explode. But if you are there trying to hold that cap on, it's going to explode, and that comes out a lot of times in anger or poor choices. And so taking the time to feel the pain, that's all we can do with grief. That's how you process it. Think about Reggie, think about Johnny, think about Mike, and grieve that loss, and let the steam out slowly so that you don't explode. Because I truly believe that you are mentally strong.